you might have realized that there are cats in this game. And now they are starting. The game starts off with a short, unskippable 19 to 20 seconds cutscene before we can start moving through the first area of the game, which is the Grove. Like a lot of these types of games, at the start, your fastest form of movement is by rolling. Rolling gives you invincibility frames, and you can roll through enemies, so it is very useful for movement. You also have a jump. You can shoot arrows as your ranged attack, and you have a melee attack, which is with your leaf. You can also charge up your ranged attack. Right now it has 2 or 3 levels of charge. It is uncharged, half charged, which is one arrow which does more damage, and full charge, which is 3 arrows, which is shot in a spread pattern. And you might see them, or you will see them, roll in the air sometimes. That is a trick that is aptly called a roll jump, which is performed by simply rolling and jumping on the same frame. This gives you the height of a jump and allows you to move as fast as a roll and dodge through enemies as well. And this area, in this area you will see them do 3 small detours in order to grab 3 chests. That is in order to gather 80 money, which they will use to buy the only bought item in the game. And we see Ducky. He got a bad spawn on that imp, so he decided to reset the room in order to not miss the elevator cycle, which is probably very smart of him. And they are approaching the first boss, and they're very close together. The first boss has a quick kill, and we will probably see them attempt a safe version of it. The quick kill is performed by doing a fully charged arrow or ranged attack on Edea's Pearl, which you will see. And Pawn gets it, and Ducky gets it as well. Both of the runners get the quick kill. I do not know how much time it saves. Generally, I believe it's around 20 seconds. And because they did not get hit, they get the first item from a boss, which is Edea's Pearl. As I described earlier, if you do not get hit by a boss, you get a special item for beating them. And Edea drops her pearl, which gives poison properties to your arrows, which makes it so that when your arrows hit something, they spawn a poison cloud, which can not only poison enemies, but also yourself. So you need to avoid that when trying to no-hit bosses. And you also saw them buy the Crystal Seed, which is an item that increases your damage done by 50% for a short time, which helps speed up the earlier bosses. And now our runners are entering the Mocha and Lubella fight. Mocha here is one of the big bullies in the run. He can be very rude. He jumps around sporadically, so it can be hard to dodge him sometimes. But they seem to be playing it safe, so they should have no problem getting through the Mocha phase. After Mocha reaches around 2/3 of his health, he goes away and Lubella appears. Yeah, Lubella is quite an iconic boss for this game for several big reasons. One is clearly on display, and the other you could notice on Pawn screen is that she has an attack where she dives off screen, making her untargetable. And even though Pawn entered the fight earlier and got to Lubella's face earlier, Lubella diving cost him a lot of time, allowing Ducky to catch up. And the item they get from Lubella is the Bachman patch, which summons a big number of blocks which just fall from the sky and do quite a big amount of damage. And also, at this stage in the game, the runners are trying to gather the 4 crest fragments in order to gain access to the castle. So we are moving towards the first fragment here in the subterranean graves. Here we have one of, I think, the longest cutscene in the game. And the save points in this game are the bells. You have seen them run and hit. If you die, you reload the last save you did. Ducky rolls into spikes, and that is one of the dangers of even when playing on easy, is that spikes kill you instantly. And falling into a spike pit is a very costly mistake. And that is quite rough. And the subterranean graves is a quite long section in the route we take without any save points. So we'll see if what kind of strategies they use and if they take any safety saves. And because roll jumping is like 2 inputs on the same frame, there are several places in this area where if you miss a roll jump, you will either roll into spikes and die, or do a jump and just lose time, which is preferable to dying. Like that roll jump Pawn just did. If you miss that, then you fall into spikes and die. Yeah, I believe I heard Pawn take that save. I wasn't looking at the screen because I was changing the audio. But yeah, they are now. One thing to note is that some of these screens are underwater, and underwater you move slower while swimming or on the ground, but your roll speed is the same. So you want to be rolling as much as possible. And the Pawn is soon entering the third boss of the run, Derelict Frida. Ducky taking it a bit safe. They're not trying for that risky roll jump. Is he taking the save to save? Yes, he is. So we'll see what strategy Pawn uses for this fight. The easiest strategy is to do what Pawn is doing and just sit in the corner and spam arrows. It's a strategy that is very simple to pull off. It is completely safe. There are very few things that Frida can do that kills you, but it is quite slow. The thing that can happen is that Frida teleports, and that is the riskiest move. What you want her to do is the attack she's doing now, where she charges up a big laser beam, and then you can attack her to stagger her out of it and get in some free damage. Let's see if Ducky also goes for that same strategy, or if he will go for some riskier strats in melee. And the item Pawn got from defeating Frida was the Sparse Thread, which it's just a small AoE damage spell, which does quite a hefty amount of damage, so it's very useful in a lot of boss fights. And he also picked up the first crest of the run, and each of these crests gives a power-up. So that crest allows the ranged attacks to charge faster. And as you can see, Ducky is also playing the safe strat. I forgot to mention that the runners took a detour earlier in the subterranean graves before the safety bell they took, in order to grab the key in order to access this area. And the next boss that Pawn is soon coming up against is an exception in the run, because you don't need to perfect the boss, because the boss item is useless for the run. So when running this on easy, it isn't very challenging. You can mostly just smash through it and it will work out. You do have to be careful so you don't fall off the edge, because falling into spikes will kill you. And Pawn did not get a dive, so that is very good for him, as Ducky is moving towards the refight against Lubella. And now we get the first movement upgrade of the run, in that we have turned into a cat. In cat form, you move faster. Your roll is also faster, but your roll has a recovery animation at the end. So if you just roll on the ground, you will actually move slower than just rolling when you are in human form. Let's go with that word instead. That's easier to say. But yeah, so what they will do when they are in cat form is that they will do a roll jump and then cancel the recovery animation with a melee attack, which will give them the fast speeds of the jump, but none of the recovery animation. And two things to note about the cat form is that you can't use any items or climb ladders while in cat form, and you can't shoot your bow. So cat form is very useful for movement, but fighting bosses it's not so good at. And I was not looking at Ducky's screen, but he got through Lubella fine. Don't know if he got any dives or not. I'm sorry for that. But Pawn is taking a small detour here in order to go to the monastery. And what he will do is enter a screen which contains one of the bells. And because he has seen that bell, he will be able to warp to it later when he gets the next fragment, which allows him to warp to certain bells from any other bell. So in order to get that fragment, he has to be the cat. So the route early game is basically get cat form and unlock warp as fast as possible in order to minimize backtracking through the areas. And now Pawn is on one of the most famous mini-bosses in this game. It is quite a scary mini-boss if you do not use the sparse thread, or the Bachman patch can also be used if you do not have the sparse thread. But yeah, in the speedrun he just gets destroyed by 2 sparse threads. And as people in chat has pointed out, this race is far from over. There are a lot of mistakes that can happen. We saw during warm-up that Pawn got hit during the Arsonist fight, and the Arsonist item increases your damage quite significantly, so you don't really want to miss out on it. And the run from the save point to the Arsonist fight isn't very long, so it is most likely worth it to try again if you get hit on the fight. So just some platforming here in order to get through this area, in order to claim the prize of the second crest fragment, the warp fragment. Sometimes, yeah, you can, if you watch on Ducky's screen, he is having some trouble with his roll jumping in the cat form, or he did just now. So you will see, sometimes you will see them roll on the ground and looking all cutesy, which is adorable, but it's not very helpful when you're trying to do a speed run. But yeah, that's one of the great qualities of this game, is the very cute cat. A big plus. So Pawn is has now navigated through the Cinder Chambers and is now moving on to the Arsonist boss fight. and we'll see how he handles it now during the race. Do you see this? I see you claim that roll jumping is the final boss, but I think a lot of us agree that that final elevator in the castle is the final boss. Yeah, as you can see, Pawn is in. Oh, Pawn was in a pretty risky spot because that overhang makes it so that you can't really dodge Arsonist's abilities. But he seems to get through it quite cleanly. And you can see him here. He will shoot his arrows when he has like a glowing effect around him. That is because of the increased charge speed from the first crest we picked up. Makes it so that that does more damage than just simply spamming arrows. And the pocket incensory, it adds fire damage to your attacks, which does a small explosion and adds a small chunk of damage. But the most useful part about it is that it works with your Bachmann patch, and it increases your Bachmann patch damage by like 2 or 3 times, which is really good. And the third crest fragment that Pawn has now picked up is the dash fragment, which allows you to dash in the air by performing a roll input while you're in there. And now roll jumping into the dash is now the fastest form of movement. And right now he went to this cat witch, Cotillard or Cotillard, not sure of the pronunciation, in order to grab the key to the upper parts of the monastery, and in order to reach the final boss and the final crest fragment before getting to the end game. Ducky gets through the arsonist fight, and Pawn is moving towards one of a lot of people's favorite boss in this game, Pardoner Fennel. She has a great soundtrack, and casually she is a very challenging boss, and very difficult to do without getting hit. Oh, and Pawn gets hit. He did not execute the strategies perfectly, so he got hit. He gets hit, and he tries again. I just wanted to stay quiet here so you could hear some of that music. This game has really nice music overall. That is one of the tracks that stand out quite a bit extra. And now the crest that Pawn picked up allows him to charge his arrows to a even further level, and it shoots a burst of arrows in rapid succession and just deals more damage. Oh, Ducky gets hit as well on Fennel. And the item that dropped is the Tainted Missive, which increases your damage by 100% instead of 50% for a short duration, but at the cost of, I think, a quarter of your health. Because it damages you, you can't use it during a boss fight, because that counts as taking damage. So Pawn skips the save on the way through this area. This area has quite a few names depending on who you ask, and since I am the only one here, I get to dictate what I call it. And during this race, I will refer to it as the Royal Pinecone City, which is my preferred name for it. So Pawn just went on a small detour in order to grab the Sealed Wind. We needed the Sealed Wind in order to upgrade our leaf our melee weapon, and we need to do that in order to get the true ending. And Pawn here takes the safety save now instead of earlier, while Ducky takes it on the way up. Let's see if Ducky also takes it on the way to the boss. And now Pawn is approaching one of the more difficult bosses to execute consistently, Lupiar and Magnolia. The problem with Lupiar is that she can roll, which has invincibility frames. Oh, and he gets hit. He decides to reset. The item you get from Lupiar and Magnolia is quite strong. It increases your arrow damage by a significant amount. I think it doubles it. Combined with the Tainted Missive and with the Pocket Incensory, then your arrows will do obscene amounts of damage and will be very useful in the final boss fight. But yeah, so Lupiar can decide to roll, and she has invincibility frame, so if you're unlucky, your Bachman patch will do a lot less damage. And something else that is very scary about that boss is that she is immune to arrows, so if you do not get her down with that strategy, it can be very hard to safely melee her down, because she does not get staggered by the first hit, and she has a melee attack which is very quick, which is very hard to dodge. And let's see, Ducky, he gets through the first phase. He had to use both of his sparse threads on the first phase, which is not optimal, but it's preferable to taking damage, and he gets through the fight as well. And both of our runners now have the heavy arrows. So Pawn is now moving through the last area of the game, the castle, and when he gets to the save point, he will use the Bachman pouch in order to hit a lever off screen, which will open the blocks you see to the right, which will unlock a ladder shortcut to the next area. And after he does that, he will backtrack in order to upgrade his melee weapon. And one reason, yeah, that is in order to get the true ending of the game, which we need the upgraded weapon for. And we need that in our speedrun because the bad end of this game, the game does not consider itself to be beaten. So we have to get the true ending. Normally you're supposed to take a detour through the castle in order to unlock that shortcut. But with the Bachman patch, we can skip all of that. And Pawn has now upgraded his leaf and now has to go back to the castle and navigate through it to the final boss. On the way to the final boss, there will be a mini-boss. There are 3 enemies in this game who are immune to arrows. It's the 2 mini-bosses, the first night mini-boss that they just destroyed with 2 sparse threads, the mini-boss coming up, and the Lupiar in the Lupiar and Magnolia fight. The Clone Angel is... there is a reason why we call it the Clone Angel, is that because she clones herself, and you have to attack the correct clone, and you can identify the real clone by how high she hovers over the ground. And there is Kath, who we save her by not talking to her. That is 100% canon. Don't fight me on that. Everyone in the speedrun community agrees. But yeah, so the correct clone is the one which hovers closest to the ground. And the speed strat is to use 2 sparse threads and the 2 melee attacks buffed by the Tainted Missive, and it will die. So it's a very short mini-boss. Ducky is not very far behind. He's soon moving up to the Clone Angel fight as well. So if Pawn makes a mistake on the final boss, or if he makes a mistake on the way to the final boss, Ducky has a good chance of catching up. So Pawn has now navigated through all of the rooms and only has the final boss left. So let's see if he can get the quick one-cycle strategies or not. And Ducky is not far behind at all. These jumps that Ducky is doing right now they're quite trickier than they look, because the hitbox of the cat, it's not as easy to judge it when you're moving, because it's not the full width of the cat or full length of the cat. So those are it seems like Pawn has a pretty slow first phase here. And he is pretty low on health, but he has enough health to use his Tainted Missile. And he decides to use... It's not the... Oh, that's rough. He tries to use Seed Wind strats, but she's too far up, so it doesn't hurt her. Oh, okay. It does, because when she's done with that attack, she falls down through the ground again. And now Pawn is entering the final phase, and he's using the Crystal Seed again in order to get a little bit more damage in the final phase. Oh, Ducky not having enough damage to do the second phase quickly. Let's see. Oh, Pawn gets through the final phase. GG. Managed to defeat the queen. Not with the cleanest of strategies, but it works, so it works. And Ducky is entering the final phase, which you only get if you have the upgraded leaf. And he is using the regular strategy most people use, and she melts. This was a very good race. GG. Less than 25-second time difference. Yeah, and in my opinion, excuse me. In my opinion, I would consider a race time within 1 minute of each other. That's a close race, and anything less than that is really good. Oh yeah, I forgot to do that. Thank you, whoever fixed the scoring. And we will soon, when our runners are ready, we will move on to race number 2. So if Ducky wins this, we will take it to a third race. And third races are always exciting. Oh. One small thing to mention to anyone interested in playing or running this game is that we are running this tournament on a older patch, or there was like 1 or 2 weeks ago there was a patch that changed a few things which makes the speedrun slower. So because we started the speedrun on this patch that they are playing on, we decided to finish the tournament on that patch. Yeah, and if it's not hard to downgrade to the old patch. Yeah, on the speedrun page for the game you can read how to do it. But even if you were to run the game on the new patch, it's, I believe, 3 seconds in total slower over the patch they are running on. So unless you're going for absolutely world record times, it doesn't really matter for the run. The same strategies still apply. The auto splitter doesn't work, sadly, for the latest patch, so that's small, or that's an inconvenience, I guess. Ooh, pawn trying to get an early start. It's all good. It's all good. So if anyone has any questions about the run or the game, now is a pretty good time to ask them, because now that there isn't a race currently going on, I can actually read the chat a bit more. But yeah, the racers seem to be readying up, so race 2 will begin shortly. We will see if we get to a race 3. I've had pretty good luck when I'm commentating to get to a third race. I have commentated 3 races so far in this tournament, and 2 of them have gone to a race 3. Okay, Calf versus Fennel, who wins? Oh, that's a tough question. I'd say Fennel. She has curse items, or she has a curse property on her sword. And we do know that Calf has an item which fully heals her, but if she's cursed, she can't use any items. So that gives a pretty clear advantage to Fennel, in my opinion. So I would say Fennel. And also Fennel has her own theme song, pretty much. So yeah, I'm sorry, Hey-Ho. You'll have to sit down with Calf. And the second race has begun. Oh, I almost missed it in all of the excitement. So now we're back to the start. Rolling through the grove. And yeah, the grove is actually one of the most difficult areas to do really good. This first part isn't too bad, but when you get to the imps, it can be really weird, because the imps that throw bombs, how far, how high they throw their bombs is random, and the other types of imps, how they move is random. So you have to adapt pretty well, and in order to run through the grove quickly. You might remember from the last race that Ducky decided to reset a room because he was not happy with how the imps were moving, and he also grabbed. He also got hit by an imp in the earlier room in order to get invincibility frames. When you're playing on easy, you start with 2 passive items. One which just passively regens health, and one which gives you more invincibility frames when you get hit. And yeah, as you can see, they are very close when they're moving through the grove. This can be very good. I had a thought, but I seem to have lost. Oh, and the pawn, he missed the elevator cycle, decides to reset the room, which I guess it's faster to reset it. I am pretty sure it is. Okay. Oh, pawn missing quite a bit of the money, has to go back and grab more. And Ducky is now in the lead. Oh, coming into Edea. Oh yeah, Arbalest Alchemist. Yeah, it's quite an easy run to learn. You can join the Momodora speedrunning Discord if you have any questions. Both of the runners missed the quick kill this time, so they have to do. Oh wow, that's some good audio from Ducky. Oh, that was beautiful. So they had to do the fight how it's supposed to be done when you don't get the quick kill. Oh, and wow, how close did they kill Edea to each other? This is insane. Like this. How should I decide whose audio to listen to? Like they're on the same screen, they're on the same spot, they're on the same dial. Oh, yeah. Wouldn't surprise me if they get the same Lubella and Mocha RNG. Like, are they running this? Are they doing the same run? Like, Are we looking at pawn screen twice or ducky screen twice? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, the real frame perfect trick is syncing up with your race opponent. Roll jumps, meh, that's for children. Syncing up inputs with your race partner, now that's something cool. Yeah, the attack that they get the same Mocha RNG as well. Can they get through the? Okay. Pawn did not get a second attack of Mocha, so we do not know if they would have gotten the same type of RNG. But in my head, they have the same RNG. So let's see. Yeah. Okay, he gets a ground attack. Okay, no. They did not get the same Lubel RNG. But let's pray that none of them gets a dive. Okay, Ducky gets through without a dive, and Pawn gets through without a dive. This is insane! Like, this, you don't do this. Like, okay, yeah, you do this. But this... Yeah. Like, they haven't been more than 2 screens apart in the run so far, which is very rare. And yeah, I'm amazed at how close this race is. And this is brilliant. Well, on the plus side, if they are both on the same screen, then if I talk about Lubella dives, then the commentator's curse should strike both of them because they would both be on the Lubella fight. So it should be equal. Like, this is unheard of. Oh, Ducky mashing a bit faster. Gets through that dialogue slightly faster. One thing I forgot to mention here in the subterranean graves is that the bats you sometimes see flying across the screen, where they spawn height-wise is random. They can spawn at any height in the room, but they only spawn when you're at the edge of the room, and they spawn on the opposite edge. So they will always come towards you. They are, when running on easy and the easier difficulties, the lower difficulties, both got chairs pointing to the left, not with the same tilt in the background. Okay, they did not both get tables. So I got sidetracked there, I'm sorry. But yeah, so the bats on easy, they're just a slight nuisance. But when you're running on the harder difficulties, they can really screw you over where they spawn. So I did not see a jellyfish for either of our runners. Sometimes in that room with the bell, you can have a jellyfish spawn in the background or foreground. But it looks quite hostile sometimes, so you quite often see casual players try to kill it because it looks quite scary and big. And I don't blame them for that. Pawn not trusting his way through that room, taking it slow, as Ducky now enters the Frida fight. Yeah, if, as I said earlier, you want to perfect the bosses in order to get their items. Like, if you miss even one item, it's quite easy for it to cascade into getting hit on multiple bosses and losing even more items. So it's very important that you get all the items in the run. One thing I haven't mentioned is that sometimes you will see a blue fairy creature that will shoot laser beams across the entire screen. That is a hidden item in the game, which is spawned by typing the part of the Konami code, like just inputting the directional inputs. And you can use it once per bell. Every time you save at the bell, your items are refreshed. As you can see, he did there. Yeah, and the fairy spawns laser beams randomly across the screen, which damages things. And that's what you saw on Ducky's screen during the Dia fight, is that he got his fairy's laser beams to hit Dia's pearl and bug out the sound. Sometimes, if you're very lucky, those fairy lasers can pretty much instantly kill Dia, which is very fun to see happen. Oh, no, Ducky did not get 2 screens ahead there. Can he get 2 screens ahead now, or will... Oh, for a few frames he was 2 screens ahead. Let's see, yeah. So Ducky has a very minor lead right now. But I don't want to say anything about the next fight. I don't want to be responsible for the commentator's curse here. Ducky has a history of commentators cursing this fight. I do not want to be known for the same thing. I would rather be known for the commentator to bring triple or best of 3 race or 3 races and not 2 races. Okay, so Ducky gets a laugh and then a attack, so he has good RNG. Oh, was she about to dive, but he managed to get her down. And Pawn also gets through without any dives. No dives in this race. This RNG, it's beautiful. One of the frustrating things when running this game is when you're going for those really top times, you have to pray that Edia doesn't... Oh, that's not Edia, that's Lubella. My bad. I sometimes mix up their names, but you just have to hope that Lubella doesn't give you a dive, because that's 12, I believe on the second fight, it's 12-second time loss that you can't do anything about. And on the first fight, it's around 7-second time loss. And yeah, that's just really bad. Yeah, so Lubella is the worst with RNG. Frida can decide to teleport. When you are close to Frida, she teleports more often. But when you want to go fast, you want to go in and melee her. So then you're close to her, and she teleports more often, which can be rough. But even if she teleports 3 times, you save time by doing the melee strategies than just sitting in a corner and spamming arrows. Yeah, what some of the Momodora community are mentioning in the chat about gold Bachmans is that the dark creatures which throw bombs are called Bachmans, and sometimes they spawn as golden versions which throw way too many bombs at once. It's a very rare spawn. I think I've seen it once in 150 hours of playtime. Oh no, are we losing Ducky? No, Ducky, please stay with us. You can't lose us here. You're in the lead. Oh, he's back. Oh, Ducky, don't scare us like that. Oh, Ducky, please. You're in the lead. I'm going to throw out some lore that I think is accurate, but not entirely sure. So Lubella is the witch that is the source of the corruption in this area. So she tries, when you first enter the city, she tries to stop you. And then the second time when you defeat her in the Memorial Park, you actually defeat her. And as she dies, she releases quite a bit of magical energy, and it just so happens that you get cursed by all this magical energy that gets released upon her death and transformed into a cat. And that's the lore for why you are a cat. I claim that this is 100% true. You can fight me if you want. We can have a Momodora race later sometime. I'm up for it. Wait. Oh, have I been focusing too much on commentary? Ducky missed a cycle there and allowed Pawn to catch up. I shouldn't focus too much on lore. Things are actually happening. So now, Pawn is slightly ahead. Pawn has caught up, but he did not transform into a cat. So Ducky is now catching up. Now Ducky is ahead again. Oh my, what is happening? Now they are on the same frame again. Oh no. The race is neck and neck again. Are they communicating with each other? Are they trying to have as close as a race as possible? Who knows? Don't they know that the loser is eliminated from the tournament? If they are out of the tournament, they don't get the special prize that the winner of the tournament gets. And it is the best prize you could ever get. No, it's not money. No, it's not fame. It is the power to decide who is the best girl of Momodora. You can't beat that kind of power. And both of our runners are entering the arsonist. Ducky with a green timer, Pawn with a red timer. Let's see how they get through this hellish fight. One detail with this fight is that you want Calf, the female knight that assists you, to be as close to you as possible when the fight ends, because when the fight is over, she wants to talk to you. But you also want to be as close that oh no, Ducky gets hit and he resets. Will Pawn do it? Or will he also reset? No, he gets through it. Oh, he gets it. Pawn is now in the lead because Ducky had to reset. Can Pawn get the good dialogue here? You have to get through 3 text boxes and then answer no, and he does so. Because if you answer yes, Calf will go on an exposition dump and tell you what you're doing here, explaining that you need to get the 4 crest fragments in order to access the castle. And Ducky is refighting the arsonist. It's going well. Pawn is going to courtyard. Let's see what kind of cats are waiting there. Will Ducky beat the arsonist? Oh, he's running. Ooh. Oh, Ducky is scared because he... Oh, that was a beautiful arrow shot. As you can see, he's very close to some explosive barrels. And hitting them would mean hitting himself and losing him yet even more time. But unfortunately, he's so far to the left you can be in that room and still be in the boss room. So he loses quite a bit of time on that. But he still gets through and manages to grab the dodge trap. Pawn is now in my favorite elevator. It's a very pretty elevator. It's quite short, but it's very decorative. So it's a personal favorite of mine. It's better going up than down in my opinion. And now Pawn is back on Fennel. Will he get revenge and complete it in one attempt this time? Or will she get her revenge? Oh, she's released. Oh, it's close. And he gets her. If she only had a little, slightly longer sword, just a few more pixels, then Pawn would have been sliced. But now, he grabbed the dice? No, I'm sorry. If only she had dropped dice, that would have been such a good pun. Oh well, I can't get it all, it seems. Ducky is moving up towards the Fennel boss fight as Pawn moves to the Royal Pina Colada. This is a momentous occasion. I'm not sure why it's a momentous occasion, but the Royal Pina Colada is a very popular name for this place. I heard a very good name. There is a third name that is really good for that. Yeah, I do not remember it exactly. Can you please? Yeah, it's all. I think it's not exactly that, Lycidas. I think it's something with piano. I'm not sure if it's piano colada. I think it's something else at the end, but the royal piano something. But yeah, the music in this area is very calming, in my opinion. It's very nice. I'm gonna be quiet and you can listen to it while Paul navigates through here. That was a part of the soundtrack for... Oh, now this... Sorry. Listen to this. This is such a nice sound to have. Like, this is pretty far into the run, and you're approaching one of the most nerve-wracking parts of the run. A big breaking point. So if you mess up here, then you know that you're probably going to have to reset. So in order to help you with that, you have some calming, soothing music, which is pretty good. And Pawn gets through the first phase very beautifully. Let's see if he can get through the second phase as well and claim the heavy arrows. He rolls away from Magnolia, doesn't take any chances, and grabs the heavy arrows. He has all the items he needs in order to defeat the queen and cleanse the corruption of this land. Ducky is not far behind. He takes a safety save as he moves towards Rupiar and Magnolia. Pawn does some underwater cat swimming. And then moves through the sewer system, I'd assume. And infiltrates the castle from below. No one would expect that. But as they say, Lycidas has a good point in the chat. It's not over. Ducky playing it safe again by using 2 sparse threads on Lupiar. And now finishes off Magnolia. And he has also all the items. So if Pawn makes one medium-sized mistake, minor mistake is a little bit too little. It does not need to be a major mistake, but a medium-sized mistake that can allow Ducky to catch up. Or maybe it needs to be somewhere between a medium and a large. It does not need to be a major mistake, but a large mistake. Yeah, we can settle with that. He probably needs to have a death in order for Ducky to catch up. And it's entirely possible that happens. The queen fight is not a pushover. These quick strats are quite precise. And sure, you can get hit quite a bit, but especially in the last phase, the attacks do a lot of damage. And if you use 2 of the tainted missives, which you have, then that's half of your health gone. So even playing on easy, you can't tank too many hits on this fight, making it quite a risky fight if you even on the easier of difficulties. And Pawn is now moving in towards the clone angel. You're not supposed to know that the real angel flies closer to the ground, but it makes perfect sense because the clones are not perfect clones and are much lighter than the real one. So the fake clones, they fly higher because gravity affects them less. And Pawn made a mistake and attacked the wrong clone. I'm not sure if he wanted to show off what happens when you hit the wrong clone, because then fish fall out of the sky and want to enact vengeance. This must be the angel of fish. Yeah, he has quite low health, so if he Pawn falls into a spike pit, and Ducky is coming up to the save point where Pawn is respawning. This race is now very close, and it will probably come down to the queen fight. Who can do the queen fight the cleanest? Now this is huge. This is massive. Ducky has every chance in the world to catch up. And let's see. This time Pawn does not make a mistake. He spots the real fake clone and defeats it. Ducky sees through the lies that Pawn could not, and discovers what the pattern to truth. And they move through the final areas of the castle in order to reach the queen and save the land from the corruption. The elevator that Pawn is in is a very dangerous elevator. Once you activate it, you cannot leave the elevator until it stops at either the top or the bottom. So if you are at the top and accidentally step on the plate, then you're in for a wild ride down, which is not very good in a speedrun. I can attest to that. And now Pawn is entering the queen fight, and Ducky is also entering the queen fight. Now who will get the best strategies? Pawn does not get the one cycle. Will Ducky get the one cycle? I think he was too late, but he's trying a Oh. Ducky's just a few seconds behind as they enter phase 2. Pawn, oh! Ducky's ahead! Ducky's ahead! He's getting through the first... Ducky is through phase 2. And he has the standard quick setup for the phase 3. I'm not sure how fast Pawn's phase 3 will be. Oh my god, they are entering... They are pretty much entering the last phase at the same frame almost. Which strategy is fastest? Which strategy is the fastest? Will Pawn win or will Ducky win? This is insane. Oh my god. Pawn wins! Pawn wins by a few seconds! This is insane! I have never seen a race that fast. That was amazing. Like, sure. This run was... Oh my god. This run was very close. I have never seen a race like this. Just a few seconds off. Yeah. Wow. This is... Yeah. The Pawn's auto splitter didn't split on the final boss, so... He killed the queen slightly faster than Ducky. Let's see if we can get our runners in for some post-game interviews. Yeah, basically the story is that you get the good ending by absorbing the corruption into yourself, or you're dispersing the corruption and then freeing it from the world, and everything can recover again, so pretty much. But yeah. Let's see. Pawn is the winner, so let's see if we can get him in here first. Yeah. It seems like both our runners want to talk. So we're just waiting for them to hop in. Oh, okay, here we have. Okay, Paul, how do you feel after this?
I mean, I'm happy to move on. And
Yeah.
Ducky and I were just talking in the other room, but we both feel our runs were pretty scuffed. But I'm happy to move on. You know, apparently we put on a really good race. Like,
oh yeah, this was the most. Like, this is definitely one of the highlights, if I say so myself.
That's hype. I mean, I'm happy to put on a good show, regardless of how scuffed I feel my run was. So that's always good. So you know, I'm happy. But yeah, there was, oh my goodness. My live split, I don't know why, but no matter how many times I try, I can't get the auto splitter to stop splitting after I kill like the meme knight guy, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
And so I split there, and it thinks that's the warp fragment split. So every single run I do, for whatever reason, I get a gold split there, and I just delete it, you know? But I forgot, because I was racing, I forgot to delete the split. So then I get to the warp fragment split, I hit that, and I'm like, and it just splits that for arsonist. And I'm like, oh no. So I tried to delete that and then delete back to warp fragment, but then the split, like the auto splitter thing is all off, and I moved my split button to like a random key so I wouldn't accidentally press it because I had the auto splitter. Yeah. And I don't know what it was. So my timer's still going because I don't know how to end this anymore. So I had to type done.
Some say that the timer is still going to this very day.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, it was all kinds of messed up. So that got kind of scuffed. But other than that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, two very close races. The first race was like 25 seconds apart. The second race, less than 5 seconds apart. I do not know the exact time. This was absolutely insane. Like, you entered the final phase almost on the same frame. It was less than half a second difference when you entered the final phase. That's so your ridiculous. Queen phase 3 was just slightly faster than Ducky's.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not went. Especially given that I believe we messed up in different areas. Like, he said that he messed up arsonist, and I after clone, my clone was terrible, scuffed, and then I just like died. I don't even know what happened there. That was...
Did you just make a mistake and thought, oh no, the one to the right is not the real one?
Yeah, I misread it. I literally misread it. And one of them attacked too. I don't even know it by the attacks. I just know it by the lower one. And I was like, that one looks kind of lower. Oh, no, it wasn't. And oh man, that hardly ever happens, but...
Yeah, I think it has like 3 different patterns it can spawn on. So if you see that you have that one angel close to you that you got, and then you see that there's one all the way to the right, then the right one is always the real one.
I wasn't sure if it was always, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Yeah, I definitely have found that it's usually the right one, but I don't know, I was like, huh, that one looks lower, so I just went for it. I don't know.
We got to show off an attack we do not see very often in this tournament. The fish flying from the sky.
Oh yeah, that was there. I think on my first run, I did like the sealed wind thing on Queen, so there was that as well.
Was that a swag strat or?
No, that was absolutely.
Did you not?
Scuffed.
Did you thought it would hit her while she was up in the air?
Or did you know? I don't even remember at this point. I think she just had a sliver of health left, and I was like, "Go away." So,
because the sealed wind doesn't reach her; it doesn't reach high enough when she's in that phase.
Yeah,
but
I've never tried it before.
After that phase is finished, she dives down, and then she like dove into the hitbox of the sealed wind, which looked very cool.
Calculated.
Let's put it like that. That sounds a lot.
Got my TA84 right here, dude. It's all calculated out.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. You're facing. Yeah, you're facing Heyo in the next round of the tournament. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Going off of these runs, GG Heyo. But
yeah, Heyo is one of the top runners of this game, so
yeah. You know, I mean, Obviously, I mean, these runs were so scuffed. But if I can have clean runs and Heo somehow chokes, I could maybe see a game 3, maybe, if I'm really lucky. But I would be very surprised if I moved on past that round. But that's okay. I'm okay losing to Heo. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But Heo's a very, very good runner and a cool guy. So I am looking forward to seeing him advance if it can't be me. So.
Yeah. So anything else you wish to say about this?
I mean, really, really good games, Ducky. It was fun. I'm glad we put on a good show. Thanks for organizing the tournament. It's been super fun.
Yeah. Thanks for running. So we have Ducky here as well. Hello.
Hey.
How that second race was so insanely close. How?
Yeah, it was like I delayed half a second on my last hit for some reason, and that was literally what cost me the race.
Yeah, it might have been that. And I think you had some slow menuing between the second phase and the third phase.
Because I forgot that I didn't have my Bachman patches set because I keep the cat sphere on in case I don't get the quick kill on the second phase, because then I can use the cat to get some extra hits in.
Yeah.
But then I didn't need to do that, so I forgot that I needed to put my Bachman patches on. But I mean,
something similar happened in one of my runs. I ended the run with like 26:01 time, and I lost more than 2 seconds of that with that menu. So it cost me my first sub 26 run with that poor menuing. So,
yeah, I did have a couple areas where I messed up my menuing as well. So that's always kind of been one of my weaknesses just as a speedrunner. This is the only game I speedrun that has menuing.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not one of my strong suits.
Yeah. But luckily there isn't too much menuing, and it's consistent between runs if you get the items and do it the same way. So if you practice it enough, you can get it down to muscle memory. So
yeah,
which is pretty nice. There was something I was thinking. Oh yeah, during the second race, when you were moving back to the warp crest, you started the lag. Your stream started lagging, so I was scared that you were going to.
Yeah, I had some issues. My internet isn't the most stable, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I also
okay, go ahead.
I also in the second race, I managed to make the game lag on Idea with the fairy.
Oh yeah. That was really cool to see. Oh yeah. Like I have to mention that there were so many points in the run where you were either neck and neck so many times, and after Idea, you were almost on the same location, like in doing the same inputs frame by frame. It was really insane to see.
Yeah. I wonder if I didn't lag Idea, if I would have won the second race.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you lost any time to that, or if I think it's just an audio bug, so to speak.
Well, no, it was like my video was lagging.
Oh, your video was like okay.
Yeah. But anyways, it is what it is. It kind of sucks to technically go 0 well, I guess I technically went 1-2, but I went 0-2 in my own tournament, but I wasn't expecting to do that great. I mostly just put it on for everyone else because there was interest for it. So
yeah. And we all in the Momodora community thank you for organizing this tournament. It has been really fun so far. It's sad to see that you are eliminated out of the tournament, but I guess we will see you commentating some further matches.
Yeah. This won't be the last you'll hear of me in this tournament. I'll definitely be doing commentary still. So
yeah, but definitely thank you very much for all the work you put in with organizing this tournament so far, the commentary you've done, and the commentary you will do from all of us in the Momodora community.
Well, thank you all for watching, and the other commentators who've done commentary. Yeah, and the runners, obviously.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about these runs, or any
Just
parting words?
enjoy the rest of the races. We got some pretty good ones coming up, including our winners finals, which I think will be interesting because it's the first and second seeds facing off.
Double Stop versus Nan.
Yeah,
Two
the dream
extremely
match.
good players. They are our two top runners, I would say, and Heyo is very close behind them as well, not far behind.
Yeah, so there's definitely some good races still coming up, and I hope you guys will continue to watch.
Yeah, I think that is all from us today. Thank you very much, Speed Gaming, for helping with the restream and doing all the technical magic that you do. And if you're interested in running the game or learning about the game, you can join the Momodora Discord community. If you type exclamation mark Momodora in the Twitch chat, there will be a link to the Discord and you can join. We are a very friendly community, and yeah, you can come in and ask any question you have about the game. And also, if you want to learn the run, it's quite a short run, as you saw here. All of the runs were under 30 minutes, and it doesn't take that much practice to reach times that are under 30 minutes. It's a quite short, simple, and easy to learn run. So if you've ever wanted to get into speedrunning, this is a very good game to start with. I think that will be all for us today. I hope you will join us again when we schedule the next matches of our tournament. Bye-bye, everyone.